Well, of course, the big news this morning is that 18 plus can get vaccinated come May 1st. Let's also take stock of what's happening across MOTOWN, because remember, the curbs and curfews are still very much in place. So how is that impacting the two-wheeler industry right now, given the second wave has gripped states like Maharashtra? Let's welcome on board Nikunj Sanghi, the chairman at ASDC, and we also have with us Neeraj Thakkar, the MD at Autoden Bajaj, joining in on the show right now. Neeraj and Nikunj, hi, good morning. Good to have you both on the show. Neeraj, if I could kickstart the discussion with you, help us understand what really is happening with this, fresh wave across many states, and in particular like Maharashtra. Are the dealerships completely shut right now, or are you operational?
Yeah, hi, good morning. So the dealership currently is entirely shut. We are not operating since the second lockdown was announced. And we were just recovering from the entire lockdown, which was first lockdown. And then, after this lockdown currently, which we got, it's entirely shut. I mean, we are not operational at all.
So what are the problems that you foresee coming up this time around? I mean, what would be the impact on your, plans, for instance? What happens to labor shortage? Do you see the problems that we saw same time last year when the first lockdown countrywide got announced? Would you have to grapple with the same issues this time too?
Yes, I mean, we were yet not completely recovered from the first lockdown. For example, the spare parts were still at the shortage, and we were just recovering. And then again, the second lockdown would again means starting all over again. We have our laborers who are from other states, so they have again migrated back to their respective hometown. Now again, calling them back once we reopen, getting the manpower again in back to the normal working mode will be a big challenge again.
Okay, Nikunj, wanted to also understand whether or not you're likely to see some sort of a year-end push this time around, owing to perhaps the wedding season, the vaccination drive as well picking up momentum and demand somewhat restoring itself. Is there any sort of a timeline that you have in mind?
Doesn't look like. That definitely doesn't look like. If you really track the two-wheeler market, I think two-wheeler market has been stressed since the festival last year, which is post-Diwali. You have seen the stress in the two-wheeler market. A lot of the stress is because, one, the cost of acquisition of two-wheelers has really gone up by almost 15 to 18%. There have been continuous price increases. Because of regulatory norms, because of commodity price increases, and at the same time, fuel prices have actually gone off the roof. And so affordability has become a major concern with the two-wheeler buyer, and I think that is why we are seeing stress in demand. Coupled with this, the second wave, I think it started with Maharashtra, then came in Madhya Pradesh, then Rajasthan, now Delhi, and now you see UP. So I guess these lockdowns are another reason why the demand is going to be suppressed, and you're not really seeing Rajasthan. We are totally shut down. We are totally shut down till the 3rd of May. MP is shut down till the 26th of April. Delhi is shut down till the 26th of April. UP, 5 major towns have been shut down till the 26th of April. And I think this is only going to go up. So, and I think what is most impacted is the people at the bottom of the pyramid. And they are the ones who are our target customers, specifically at the entry level. And the entry level constitutes the major portion of the two-wheeler market.
Would you concur with that assessment, Neeraj, that the entry-level customers who've been hit hard, there's no real light as of now at the end of the tunnel, or are you seeing some sort of a change in the overall behavioral patterns, etc., say towards the end of this year?
So as of now, I'll agree with Nikunj. The entry-level customers basically have a limited resource at their disposal right now. Or even once the lockdown reopens in the first week of May, we will have the problem that entry-level market will struggle. We will struggle to get the customers. But as after the first lockdown, there was a big surge in demand. So I hope that it happens after the lockdown is. We reopen once the lockdown is over.
Nikunj, the only differential here is that since the experience of the previous lockdown, I know while the industry is still grappling with the, pandemic repercussions from last year, but you're also more equipped to deal with how curbs, curfews and lockdowns work and how the reopening process is, what are the troubles and the teething troubles that you have to really grapple with. Would you say in that sense the industry is a little better off right now? Would you say things are status quo and you still haven't been able to recover from last year's dent?
Look at the last year's sales. I think while there was a surge in demand in the first 3 months, you look at June, July, August last year, yes, there was a surge in demand, but I think that was all the pent-up demand. Once the pent-up demand was over, we could see the footfalls falling, we could see retails falling. And I think this is not so much to do with the logistics. I think logistics, yes, you're right, we are well prepared, we know how to grapple with it. But this time the uncertainty is more. Last year, the lockdown was an all India lockdown. There was a standard policy, a standard SOP that we needed to follow. But now this is more localized. And I think each state, each city has a different parameter in terms of how the lockdown is going to be operated. So there is a lot of confusion with us. There is a lot of confusion with the customers. And there is a lot of confusion with the government departments, with the financing institutions. So I think this time it's far more challenging than last year in terms of multiplicity of orders, multiplicity of methods of how the lockdown is going to be operated. So it's far more complicated than it was last year.
Sure. Neeraj, the one thing which is different from the same time last year is that now you also have the big cobra head of inflation as well. And to add to that, like you were earlier highlighting, there is a component shortage as well out there. How do you think the industry is going to fight out this battle from the impact of inflation because of the RMC costs?
The prices have increased 2 or 3 times in last 6 or 7 months. And there is an added burden on the consumer to purchase the goods. But I just hope the financial institute comes in and they help out the consumer with respect to their auto loans and the lower interest rate. That is what we are hoping. If that will not happen, the demand will again it will be on the short. It will go down and it will be on the lower side. That is what we are expecting. As it is, the monsoons will start from the June. And June, July again would be a very low demand months for two-wheeler segment.
Okay. So, Nikunj, what about you in terms of what the potential list could be in order to help tackle the overall raw material price inflation woes, supply chain worries, and plants really just becoming more operational? What do you think is currently the need of the hour?
So while there is definitely going to be a huge challenge in terms of managing prices, because it doesn't look like the commodity prices are in any way going to cool down in the near future. And if they don't, I don't see much scope of manufacturers absorbing that cost and not passing it on to the consumer. However, the two-wheeler supply side is not as bad as it is in four-wheelers. We have sufficient inventories. In fact, I would say we have more than sufficient inventories. And even if there are supply side constraints for the next 1 or 2 months, I think our current inventory levels will be able to manage. So I think the challenge in two-wheelers is going to be more on the demand side than on the supply side. The semiconductor shortage is not impacting two-wheelers as much as it is impacting passenger vehicles and commercial vehicles. So I think the demand side is what will need to be tackled. And like Neeraj said, that even if financiers do come up with softer loans, with higher LTVs, even then I think there is this huge gap in terms of being able to pay your EMIs. I think the customer is so concerned about his ability to pay future EMIs that he is not willing to come in and buy a new vehicle. So I think those concerns are the ones which need to be handled more than the supply side constraints. And two, the sentiment is terribly impacted with the second lockdown. There is a lot of scare in the market because the numbers are much, much larger than last time. The infrastructure is really giving away. And I think the automobile market is totally sentiment driven. When the sentiment is negative, even if you have ability to pay, you refrain from buying automobiles. That's my experience. So I guess we will need to wait and watch. And we only hope that the second half of the year is much, much better than the way the first half has started. And we are able to do some recovery in terms of our total retails this financial year.
Right. Thank you so much, Neeraj and Nikunj, for giving us a clearer picture of how grim the situation really is for some of these auto players and when we're likely to see a potential revival, as well as the added impact of the raw material price inflation. All right, a quick glance at the equity markets. At 14,458, names like ICICI Pru, Sobha, Lemon Tree, AstraZeneca, Hudco, as well as Indian Hotels and Piramal Enterprises, they're abuzz in trade. Let's take a very short break. Be right back with more on the market.